Do you take conformation or temperament in a parade ring into account when punting? When I was doing more work on radio, William Hill, and I was seeing more horses in the paddock before races, and I was betting in running, part of the perk of going up to Leeds to work on William Hill Racing Radio was that we'd get super far, well, as fast a pictures as you could get, and we'd be able to bet in running with a 1 or 2 second advantage over most punters. So you'd make your radio shift money, and you'd also be able to nick 200 or 300 or 400 quid for yourself just from betting in running. And when I was doing that, I would look at the horses in the parade ring a little bit more than usual. And I used to go racing a lot more as well. And I don't go racing as much as I used to. I'd like to think that I have an eye for a horse. I know the type of horse that I like the look of. It doesn't always work out. Nigel Twiston-Davies used to have a chaser called Sybarite. And I seen him in person at Nigel Twiston-Davies' stable and seen him on the racetrack a few times. And he's probably the most gorgeous horse I've ever seen. If Gold Cups were given out for looks, Sybarite would win every single Gold Cup every year because he was just a stunning looking horse. But he was absolutely fucking useless. And then you get a horse, say, like Hurricane Fly. A 2-time champion hurdle winner, unbeaten in 12 Grade 1s at Leopardstown. Probably the greatest Irish hurdler of all time. He might not have been the best. Faheen at his peak was probably a little bit better. Istabrac at his best was probably a little bit better. But I would say that Hurricane Fly was the greatest. And he was nothing special to look at. He was a little rat of a thing. I saw Hurricane Fly in person a few times at Cheltenham. Funnily enough, when Hurricane Fly won his second champion hurdle, I was there. And I saw Hurricane Fly in the pre-parade ring. And I looked at him and I thought, Jesus Christ, he's like a little pony. But he was ripped to shreds, like he was in outstanding shape. And this was before his saddle was put on, before his saddle cloth was put on, before his tack was put on. It was just Hurricane Fly, the horse, just before he was going to get ready for the race. And I just thought to myself that there's not a horse in this race that's going to get near him in the shape he's in. So yeah, I do have an eye for it. I'm not an expert though. But, good looking horses sometimes are married up by their ability. Take Sprinter Sacre, for example. Sprinter Sacre, probably the best ever 2-mile chaser in terms of raw ability. He was a stunning looking horse. Another horse that wasn't particularly good looking was Frankel. I've seen Frankel in person numerous times. In fact, I've stroked his head. I went to see him at Stud in Newmarket many years ago. Not a particularly good looking horse. A plain looking horse. Very, very strong, well built, but not a particularly good looking horse. In fact, Frankel's full brother, Bullet Train. Bullet Train was actually a better looking horse than Frankel is. They're both still around. I think Bullet Train's still around. It's an interesting topic. I'm not an expert, but I have an eye for what I like and what I don't like. I can tell a good looking horse from a plain looking horse to a small looking horse to a big looking horse and that type of thing. But really, I'm led by performance figures, speed figures, form ratings, and my eyes in terms of how a horse travels, jumps, handles ground, handles the occasion, their head carriage, their attitude, all of that type of stuff, more than just raw ability and looks.